Hi everyone, this is Crispy1001 at kpcoolstuff.com. This is our third video on how to use Blender and the Blender2FSX add-on to make models for Flight Simulator 10. So let's start where we left off. Go ahead and open your Blender file. And what we're going to do now, we're going to go through and we're going to start grouping our objects onto our root. We're also going to change and make sure that our scale is default 1 on the X, Y, and Z axis on the whole model. If we do not do this, when we get into animating and texturing, it can have bad effects when you export your model and get it into FSX. So let's go ahead and get started. What we're going to do is on the right toolbar, we're going to go in between this first little window here and the second window until you get the arrows that point up and down vertically. You're going to hold down the left mouse button and pull down to expand that one window so you can see all the parts for our model. With the cursor in the 3D workspace, click the A one time to unselect if you have anything, and then one more time to select everything. That selects, as you see over here in this window over here, everything that's selected. You could have also went over here and left click on each item individually while holding down the shift key to highlight everything that way. We're then going to do a Control and A. We're going to go to Scale and hit 1, or click the scale one time, click it. Now you can see that under scale our X is 1, our Y is 1, and our Z is 1. We want to keep this throughout the modeling process that our scale is all 1. Now we're going to unselect our items by hitting A. Now we're going to go to this little window over here. We're going to click on the body by left clicking. We're going to hold down the shift key on the keyboard and click the test plane root, or whatever you named your root, your empty. We're then going to take our mouse pointer, put it back into our 3D workspace. We're going to hit Control and P. Set parent to, we want to hit Object. And the way Blender is set up, the last item that is selected, that will be the parent for the first ones, or the ones that were selected before it. Now if we go back to this window here, we can see now test plane root, body is gone, but if you click on the little positive, you can see that it is now starting under the tree structure, or it's a sub part or sub object under the root. There's body. We're now going to do we're going to go put your mouse pointer back into your 3D workspace, hit the A key to unselect. We're going to go up into the window over here on the right right of the screen. We're going to click on the elevator once, or left click. Holding down the shift key, click on main wing. With the shift button still clicked, left click on rudder, and then click on body. What we're going to do, we're going to make the parent of the elevator, the main wing, the rudder, and the body is going to be the parent of these items. With your mouse cursor back in your 3D workspace, hit Control P again and click on Object. Now we can see that you have your test root, or test plane root, and body. If you now open the positive on the body, you will now see the other items that we've made the body the parent to. Now we're going to add our landing gear. So we're going to go to a front view. Well, let's go to the side view. So Control and number 3. We're going to zoom in. Sorry about that, I had to pause for a minute. Okay, now from the left you can see that you have lines going everywhere. That's the relationship lines. We're going to turn those off so we won't have to see them. So on this toolbar here, we're going to scroll down. We're going to go to Display. Let's see, where is that? Display. 3D curve. Oh, there we go, Display. Relationship lines, we're going to uncheck that, and that'll get rid of those lines for us. Okay, we're going to move our 3D cursor. So we're going to do a right mouse click. We're going to start off by doing the left landing gear. We're going to do a Shift A, go Mesh and Cube. We're going to scroll in, and if you are not in, if your screen doesn't look exactly like mine, you don't have an outline, that means you're in solid mode. If you're in solid mode, hit the Z key and it'll start looking like mine. And to show you, if I hit Z key, I'll go to solid mode. If I hit Z key again, I'll go to wireframe mode. We want to do most of our work in wireframe mode. Okay, now that we have our cube, we are going to go into edit mode, so hit tab, hit A to unselect everything. We're going to hit B to select the top vertices, G and Z. We're going to move it up. Oops, my computer's running slow. Oh, there we go. And we're going to hit A to unselect. We're going to select these two top vertices at the left top corner of it. So B, select G and Y to move it over. A to unselect, B to select the lower vertices, G to grab, Z for Z axis. We're now going to move these in a little bit closer. I'm going to zoom in though, so middle mouse wheel and shift and middle mouse to move it, move the whole 3D space. A to unselect, B to select, G to grab, Y for the Y axis. We're now going to move this vertice down here, so A to unselect, B to select again, G to grab, Y for the Y axis. Okay, we have it in the correct shape from the side view. So now let's go to a top-down view. So 7. Holding down the Shift key on the keyboard and your middle mouse button, move over your workspace. So we are going to have to make it a little narrower and move it into position. So we're going to hit A to unselect, and we're going to hit A one more time to select everything. We're going to hit the G key and the X key to move it in the X axis. We'll move it right there for right now, but in the middle of the landing gear. With everything still selected, let's hit the S key for scaling and in the X direction. We'll leave it about that thick. We're not doing anything precise, so just wherever it looks close to mine. Now we're going to hit A to unselect everything. We're going to go B to select the top vertices here. We hit G for grab, Y for the Y axis. A to unselect, B to select again, select the, oh boy, I did it there. If you mess up like that, stop what you're doing, hit escape. Hit A to unselect, go back to B, reselect G and Y. Okay, that looks good. Now let's look at it in a front view. So that's Control and the number 1. I'm going to zoom out some. Okay, we are going to be rotating the landing gear to go along with this here. And we're going to have to make it a little bit longer because if you rotate it, we're going to be short. It also looks like I've messed up on my model, and I have, oh wait a minute, this is the front view. I'm sorry, we just sized for the side view. Now we're going to have to resize it for the front view. As you can see, the object is larger than what our front of our landing gear is. So we're going to hit A once to unselect, and then A again to select everything. We're going to hit S to scale, and we're going to scale it in the X-axis. So hit X and scale it down to match what we have there. And left mouse click to enter, or enter key on the keyboard. Now we need to scale it in the Z-axis. So again, keep everything selected, hit the S key again for scale, and Z for Z-axis. Rescale it to about where you think it'll rotate and match everything. So we'll go right there. And remember, if you don't get it right after we rotate, so to rotate we are going to hit the R. We want to rotate on the Y-axis, so hit Y and then move your mouse. That's going to be pretty good. So where you get it where you want it, hit the left mouse button again, or the enter key on the keyboard. This time, let's see. Okay, we're going to move it up in the Z-axis, so G and Z. I'm going to move it a little bit higher than what it shows there because I'm going to move it over in the X-axis as well. So I'll move it about right there. Then I'm going to hit G and X. Oops, a little too far. G and X again. There. Okay, so we have it lined up pretty good for the front view now. We're going to hit A to unselect everything. We're going to hit the tab to get out of tab mode. We're going to hold down the mouse button, or the middle mouse button, to rotate. See what we look like. I'm zooming out. Okay, so that looks all right. Oops. There we go. Okay, so let's go. I'm going to pause for a minute, so please bear with me. Okay, I am back. The next thing we're going to do is name this object. So we're going to go on the right tool window. I'm going to click on Object. I'm going to bring the window to the top. I'm going to click on the name, and I'm going to call this one Left Landing Gear. After you do that, we're going to go into the front view, so Control and number pad 1. We're going to zoom in and move your workspace by hitting the Shift and the middle mouse button. Okay, what we're going to do now, we are going to copy this landing gear, drag it to this side, and rotate it on the y-axis to match this side. To do this, first we're going to move the center of the object back to the actual object. You see that we have our landing gear selected, but our middle point for the object is way off in the middle here. So to do that, if you look over into your tool set on the left hand side, you'll see a set origin. Click on that button and go to origin to geometry. Click it, and you'll see now our center point is now in the middle of our object. Now we're going to do a copy. We're going to do a shift and a D, and then we're going to do the X to move it in the X axis. Move your mouse to pull it over and put your middle point in about the middle of your landing gear. So now we've made a duplicate. Before we do anything else, we're going to go over to our right toolbar. We're going to change its name. As you can see it, give it a landing gear or left landing gear .001. We're going to click on that. I'm going to change the left to right, R-I-G-H-T, and I'm going to click at the end of it and backspace until I get rid of that .001, then enter. Now back in our 3D workspace, we're going to hit the R key and the Y key to rotate it in the Y axis until you're lined up. When you're ready, hit the left mouse button or your enter key on your keyboard. And now we're going to hold down the middle mouse button to go in perspective mode. Zoom out. And now we have our back landing gear. Now let's make sure that both of these items are still at a scale of 1. So with our right landing gear selected, we go over to this toolbar, look at the scale, 1, 1, 1, so we're good. Let's click on our left landing gear by using the left mouse button. Our scale is still 1, 1, 1, that's good. Now select both the left and right landing gear. You have the left landing gear selected now. If you don't, click on it. And then to select the opposite one, hold down the shift and the left key and select the other one. Turn your 3D object a little bit in your 3D workspace. Hold down the shift key and click on the body. Now we're basically doing the very same thing as we did last time in this window up here. We're selecting the two items that we want to parent with our last object we selected. So that's what I just did. Now with your cursor in the 3D workspace, hit Control and P and click on Object. Now we just made these, our landing gear made the body the parent to these, or to your landing gear. So hit A to unselect. Let's go back now into the left orthographic view, Control and number 3. Let's zoom in. Let's shift over. And now we're going to make the front landing gear. So let's let's relocate our 3D cursor. So use your right mouse button to click about in the middle of your front landing gear. Do a Shift A. Go Mesh and we'll use a cube. I'm not going to use a cylinder because it'll just be more polys, and for this model it doesn't really matter. So a cube. We're going to then size it in the y-axis, so S and Y. We're going to now move it in the z-axis, G and Z. We're going to go into edit mode, so tab. We're going to hit A to unselect everything. We're going to hit B to select the lower vertices, G to grab, and in the z-axis, the Z key. Pull it down, and left mouse to enter, or the keyboard enter. A to unselect. Now let's go to a top-down view, which is the 7 key. We need to resize that. I want to keep it as a square. I forgot to put that on the drawing. So let's select everything. So A. We're going to hit S to size, and we want to do it in the x-axis. Keep it looking like a square, or as close as possible to a square. So we'll leave it about right there. And it does not look like we're in the middle. We may have our model off a little bit too. So we'll leave it where it's at. Let's hit A to unselect. Let's go into our front view. So that's Control and number 1. Zoom out. Oh yeah, we are out of shape, or out of position. Alright, so let's select everything again. So hit A key. We're going to size S, and we're going to do it in the x-axis. We're going to zoom in, and we're going to center it a little more. So hit G for grab and X for the the x-axis. Move it over some, and left mouse to leave it, or to enter it. Holding down the middle mouse button, you can rotate. Okay. Let's hit tab to get out of edit mode. Let's hit A to unselect everything, and then tab. And we're going to have to rescale this one because our scale is not 1, 1, 1. So let's hit Control A and click on scale. Now we're back into scale. With this landing gear, with the front landing gear selected, well, let's before we do that, let's go back into side view. So Control 3. Okay, we look all right there. Let's go back to front view. So Control 1. I'm going to have to improvise a little bit because I messed up on my front drawing. We need to make a location for the wheel to spin within our front landing gear, and right now that's not going to happen. So we're going to have to make the front landing gear a little bit wider than what my drawing shows. Sorry about messing that up. So we're going to zoom in. With the landing gear still selected and we're in object mode, hit the S key, and we want to scale it in the x-axis. We want to scale it probably until you have a little bit of area on each side, because we're going to make a area for the wheel to rotate inside of the landing gear. So let's hit enter there. We're going to grab and move it to the x-axis to center it a little better. We're going to have to reset our scale again because I did that. So let's, with it still highlighted, hit Control A and scale. Now let's go into edit mode, hit tab. We're going to put some loop cuts in. So with your cursor in the 3D workspace, hit Control R, left mouse click and hold it and drag down the loop cut until it's probably the same height as the two outer wheels. So let's put it about right there. Click or enter on the keyboard to keep it there. A to unselect. We're going to add two more loop cuts. This time we're going to add two of them vertically. So hit Control R. Move your loop cut. As you can see here, it goes horizontally. If you move more to the middle or move it more towards your loop cut you just put in, it'll go vertically for you. Click once and then you can move it. Move to the just a little bit larger than what the black line is for your landing gear and wheel, and click. Hit A to unselect. Hit Control R again to put in another loop cut. Left click once. Move the mouse to reposition your loop cut. And left click. Now we have some vertices to play with. Okay, now we are going to zoom in a little bit. A to unselect, B to select. We're going to select these two vertices here. You know what, that might be a bad idea. Well, let's just see what it looks like first. We're not doing nothing fancy. Just hit G to grab in the Z-axis. And enter. That's good enough for now. I mean, we're going to have a really sharp edge down here on where we only have one vertex at the bottom. But like I said, this isn't a modeling tutorial. If you move it, you can see how sharp and thin our landing gear is, which it'll be good enough for now. So let's hit A to unselect. And let's get out of edit mode, hit tab, scroll out. There's what we look like so far. Let's make sure that our scale is still good. It is. Let's name this now front landing gear. So let's go on to our right toolbar. So hit front or type front. Oops. Front landing gear. And now let's attach it to the parent. So with it selected, shift and click the fuselage or the body, and then hit Control and A. Oops, sorry, wrong thing. Escape, Control and P, and click Object. Now we have it parented to the body. Now we need to add the wheels. So let's go back to a side view, Control and 3. I'm going to pause for a minute to see how much time I have on this video already, so please bear with me. Everyone, I'm back. I'm at the 30-minute mark, so we're going to have to save our work where we're at right now. And we'll start off where we're left off here on the next video. So let's hit File and Save. I'm going to close my Blender. I'm going to go to my main folder for my project. I'm going to select my Blender file for my project. I'm going to right mouse click and copy. Go into my backup folders, right mouse and paste. I'm going to click on it once, click on the back side and put 2. And this will conclude this third tutorial. Hope to see you in the next one. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thanks. Bye.